I feel like there are so many confused people in regards of what happens when a season ends in Call of Dragons and how migration works into the game. So stick around in this video because we'll be breaking down a little bit what happens when a season ends, what you should do after it ends, and how migration will function. What is up guys, MEOWER here back with a brand new Call of Dragons video. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately about what the end of season means in Call of Dragons and what can they expect from migration and future matchmaking and so on and so forth and all these generalized questions. So I feel like it's about time I made a video explaining what that means and what can you expect and how can you prepare properly for it. So before we get started, be sure to drop a like, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get started. So, if you guys aren't aware, Call of Dragons is currently running a seasonal system between every single matchmaking phase. So, every 75 to 90 days, that is what a season time period is usually constituted for the developers, as they've stated in multiple Q&As and updates, that a season will last between 75 days all the way to 90 for the season to officially end. However, once the season ends, that doesn't mean you're immediately going to be matched with another server. No, when the season ends, that means that is the end of the time period for you to be able to get these rewards when you have to reach those benchmarks, meaning you have till the season end announcement in order to guarantee the anointed reward. For example, if you're trying to aim for the Flame Dragon and the Magma Demon. Do note that the season end has nothing to do with the Augerstone events. They are just some time periods for you to keep track of or sort of monitor how your season progress is going. There's also the Titan's Legacy, but that also does not correlate with the actual season ending. It can be used as a little compass, but just because it ended does not mean the season has ended as well. Because when the season has ended, you'll get a little pop up here on the top right corner of your screen right under your mana and your stone, stating that the season end period is coming to an end, and be sure to be ready for it so you can either know what rewards are going to be. Usually if you don't have the flame dragon, you're going to get conqueror. If you have every single thing, you're going to be getting the anointed mark. Do note however that you must be in an alliance in order to get any of the end of season rewards, as stated right here in the little fine print. You must be part of an alliance, and even if you didn't manage to occupy any of the magma demons, now that their numbers are very limited and you get the enduring tier, you still need to be part of the alliance in order to get access to the enduring crystal store and the enduring artifact compodium, which scales all the way to the anointed crystal store and the anointed artifact compodium. So once the season ends, you will get access to this shop and this artifact compodium if you won the season and got the highest tier, but you will only be able to access them once the season after that begins. So what does that mean? Meaning there will be a migration period that will open, and after you're done with the season and the season has officially ended, as stated by the little pop up here, you can do whatever you want, meaning the season has officially ended and you can just do as you please. You can join other alliances, you can go left, you can go right. It doesn't matter because you have already attained certain rewards, and that reward registers for per person, not per alliance. Meaning if you just join the rank 1 alliance that has everything in order to get the season rewards and then go back to your home alliance, you'll still gain access to the highest tier of rewards. You'll not be missing anything as they are individual rewards, not alliance based. And you can also, just to double and emphasize on that, you can only access those anointed crystal shop and the anointed artifact compodium, which you do need to save around 30,000 gems for it. It doesn't matter which tier, in order to get all 20 spins, which cost 1,500 gems each, and you're pretty much guaranteed at least 2 legendary artifacts from this compodium, making it one of the most valuable artifact places for you to try to get the artifact that you've been desperately missing. And there is also the Anointed Crystal Shop, which is pretty high value, assuming you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, Usually, when you're anointed, go for the legendary hero tokens. If you got Conqueror, also go for the legendary hero tokens. They are the hardest to obtain. Everything else here on this list can be obtained easily, but if you're really desperate and you need books, you can go for the 3Ds, or you can just go for the 20 R universal artifact keys. Other than that, none of these rewards are worth even looking at or thinking twice for. As for the common rewards, always go for their legendary Ascension emblem in order to be able to 6-star an artifact later on. And try to get as many of these CPs as possible, and with whatever remains, just grab a prestige or two in order to start snowballing your policies. However, I will make a better in-depth video for it once the next season begins, so be sure to subscribe in order to stay tuned to that. But let's go back onto topic. Once the season ends in Call of Dragons, you get a migration pop-up if you are in Season 1 Plus at least. So how can you migrate into other servers? Well, the way migration works in Call of Dragons at the moment is that you can only migrate within your server division. Meaning right now I'm in server 2. Once migration opens, I can only migrate within server 2, server 6, 7, 8, and 9. Meaning I cannot migrate anywhere else outside of those 5 servers. Once you are migrate to that server, you are tied to that server. You don't need to change alliances immediately or anything. Nothing will happen to your account at all at the very moment. Do note, however, migration does cost 5,000 gems and you can migrate as much as you want. But migration does have limitations, meaning how many players are currently active in that server. There is an upper limit. We don't know the actual limit for it. It has not been stated yet by the developers. But do note that you're going to have to try to figure out a way in order to migrate in a server that you want to migrate to, because if the server is full, well, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing anyone can do about it. If it's full, it's full. You can't migrate there. So do be careful in case you switch sides on your server mates or anything. They might end up being with you again the very next season, because you most of the time, or sometimes really, I wouldn't say most of the time, servers tend to split up after the division. So last season we were it was server 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1 to 6, I think. Yeah, it was 1 to 6. Now it's only 2 and 6 left from that cluster, and 1 and then 3, 4, 5 are gone in another division. So do be mindful of your relationships before you decide to migrate, of course, because if you don't happen to be able to migrate, you might end up in a bad spot the very next season, assuming you don't merge again with the same people you were with in the season you are currently running. So I hope this video has cleared up everything you need to know about what the season ending means and when a new season begins and how migration works. Also, a little information you guys should know about when it comes to matchmaking. Right now migration is not migration, matchmaking is based on how active a server is and how many currently active players are in it, plus the total power. This is all based on the algorithm the developers have created for the matchmaking phase. And if you are in the servers 1 to 30 right now, do know that you are currently locked out of matchmaking with anyone else, as per confirmed by the VIP CS and the regular CS. If you want further confirmation, feel free to message them. However, as it stands right now, matchmaking between these 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters are completely locked out in their own ecosystem. And I think there is another one of those here. This one as well is also going to be in the same ecosystem as everyone else, because everyone is going to be joining the season 2 right after they're done with their first run of Stars Reignited. For everyone else, there are set pools between every single cluster according to how recent the server is, how active they are, how much power they have, etc., 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 plus some other factors we don't know, and there is no way of knowing unless the developers somehow decide to reveal every single information about the seasonal matchmaking and so on and so forth. Anyway, guys, I hope you've learned a thing or two from this video. If you did, drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Join the Meowers Den. I look forward to seeing you all there. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Meow meow!